Hey, Lisa.
Still a good
Welcome
song.
to another episode of the Western New York Real Estate Show with Realtor Avery.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. So you don't realize it, and no one else realized it, but I got to tell you, I nailed the timing on the intro there, the interchange between the songs. I nailed it. It was perfect.
I was very nervous.
I know, especially when I got up and left the room.
Yeah, that was scary.
You never know what you're going to get.
But lots of
Box
fun.
chocolates.
That's true. Okay. That's very true. All right. I'm very excited for today because it is one of our episodes with a special guest.
Yes. Are we going to bring, is she ready? Do you think she's ready?
I think she is.
I think she's ready. All right. Introducing our new director of education, Alicia Guntram.
I just want to applaud you for saying my name right too.
Awesome. I love it. Welcome. We're so happy. This is awesome. Oh, you know what? It's so cool that, you know what this deserves? You know what this deserves, Lisa?
Oh gosh.
I know.
Oh.
It is a confetti moment.
It's a confetti moment for sure. Welcome, Alicia Guntram,
Thank you.
our
I'm
director of
so
education.
here.
That is awesome. We're so glad. This is so great.
I'm so excited.
I think so. I'm going to say, we talk a lot about our brokerage, the company that we keep. And I think, I always say Howard Hanna, we're like a hybrid, right? We've got the traditional brick and mortar, Buffalo side, 16 offices, Rochester, Finger Lakes side, 22 offices. We have a lot of locations with people, admins, managers, but we allow our agents to be as individual as they want to shine and stand out. But I think it's the people behind helping that are really critical. And so being with a company that has directors of education, that has a marketing team, that has accounting people throughout the state, like it's all those people behind the scenes that allow the agents to be as strong as they are and to be as successful as they are. So welcome. We're glad to have you on the team. Most of us know the Howard Hanna education team through our Tech Tuesdays, our Wednesday webinars, Friday town halls. And so the world of education is very broad and deep at Howard Hanna, but having you right here in our backyard, I think is wonderful.
Thank you. Oh, that was so nice. I'm really excited. For those that don't know, I'm relatively new. I've only been here for a month in this role, so I'm still learning, but I'm really excited. There's so many things. There's so many opportunities, and I've got a great team behind me. So I'm just really, really excited to get going and let's do this.
Awesome.
Oh,
and one of the things that we want to focus on is getting feedback from people as to what they want to see you helping us with, right? So and that's again the nice part. If all three of us were practicing agents going after the same listing, we'd probably all give a little bit different presentation. We'd all do things a little bit differently because that's how our individuality stands out. So we want to hear what do all of you who watch us every week, what do you want to learn? What steps in training, or even sometimes, it's so funny. We've been talking about escalation clauses in our office based on a couple of offers. And I do remember the first time I heard of an escalation clause, it was like, oh, you should hear what they're doing in California. This was like 20 years ago, right? No one had ever heard of one or seen one. And so then it was like, okay, we've got to get some training on this, right? Like, how are we going to write them? How are we going to interpret them? And so if there's something that you've heard of, some other part of the country, and you're like, hey, I want to know more about that. That's what our training department is so responsive on. You have to teach you the basics.
You said all right, question. So you were talking about escalation clauses. What about a de-escalation clause?
If we'll go this high unless no one is anywhere near us?
No, like
how does that work?
A de-escalation clause. What if you write an offer and it turns out you were the only offer? Could your offer go lower if you were not competing against some other offer? Is that bananas? That's one of the ways. If an offer can escalate, can it de-escalate? This is why education is such a big deal. Honestly, like I think
it's a whole other topic to discuss. Yeah. We could probably talk about that and maybe start a whole new trend here. What do you think?
Well, maybe we can get Randy Templeman on as a guest because he talked about this in my seller representative specialist class, the designation class, which I took like 2 weeks ago, and was so. I gotta tell you, the lady at I can't remember her name at the NYSREF she sent me an email last week saying, "Hey Chuck, so glad you could get you took your thing from your scholarship." She goes, "Don't forget to apply this year. It's the deadline's coming up." They're so
Yeah.
nice. They'll give me another scholarship. All I got to do is apply.
Well,
We talked
all right.
about it at our sales meeting again. Like, hey, let's get some in for December.
Right? Okay.
Yes. But so education, like sometimes we think about education, we've got our whole dashboard, we've got a whole bunch of tools. So, some education is okay, here's how you enter people and engage. Here's how you sign them up for newsletter and active pipe. Here's how you use your space you open to close for an open house. And sometimes education is what's the mindset around negotiation when you're in a multiple offer situation, right? So there's all different areas of education.
I think where you are in your business as well. If you're a new agent, you need a specific type of education. If you're a seasoned agent, maybe 3 million or less or something, there's somewhere where you need to be for education. And if you're 3 million plus or even 6 million plus, right, there's constantly this need for education, and it's not a one size fits all. So I love the idea that you had on going to the comments, because the agents that are watching, they're all going to be in different brackets. So I would love to hear what it is that you would like to see, or if there was a class on this that you would attend, and we can implement that. Because I really want to be able to show value and show that it's not just me. It's not just our managers. There's an entire team that spends their days creating this, and we get together every week to come up with things. So I'd love to hear from everybody on this, because you're right. Education is important. That's how you're going to keep growing.
Yes. And you never know, what's going to trigger that question to come up. So definitely we want you putting in the comments. Leisha's going to be responding to all of them and is going to be getting back and seeing what's, it's nice too. Like if you see somebody's written, "Oh, I really want a class on improving my open house closing techniques," right? Like I'm holding lots of open houses, but I'm not getting a lot of appointments from them. Like then there's something in my skill set that I need, right? So if you see someone has posted that, don't just think, "Oh, they already mentioned it." Like we want to see, like, there's 10 people who want to see some hands-on open house technique, right? Don't teach me how to enter it in the MLS, right? Our office admins can do that for us. Teach me how to get someone who walks in the door to make an appointment with me 2 days later.
Right?
Well, yeah, that's what I want to do is going into 2025 is I really want to empower agents so that not only do they have the Hannah tools, which is super important, but also have the skill sets to be able to be successful in 2025. And so, and this all happens based on what it is that the agency. Thanks, Chuck. Who gave Chuck the buttons? Who gave control of the buttons to be able to do all of it?
It was, it all started. Somebody said to me recently, like, how did Chuck even get involved in this? I'm like, I brought him in.
You brought him in, but you gave him the control of the buttons.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm the only guy who was willing to figure it out. They go, "We don't know how to do blah, 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 but you can figure it out, right? Chuck can figure it out."
Like, I know Chuck in Rochester. I think he'd be really good at this.
I think he could figure it out. And so,
and he's really good. That was good.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. What else you got?
you got to keep it popping.
That's right.
I understand that. I get it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I love how you talked about empowerment, right? Like, I think, we address everything on here. I think there was a time from March through August, September, a lot of us felt beaten down. A lot of us felt that the conversation out in the world was that realtors are overpaid, not worth it. We're not. Well, I'm not going to go into other things they said, but we kind of got beaten down a little bit, right? We got a little defensive about why we're doing what we're doing, why we're earning what we're earning, and all the work that we don't get paid for, by the way. We don't really advertise that. But so I love the empowerment word, because we still do good work. I mentioned earlier that I was meeting with some of our newer agents last night, and, we go through difficult situations with people. Every home purchase is not, "Hey, we just bought our first house. Things are great. We're just building a house." Sometimes death, divorce, like there are financial hardships that cause a transaction, and we're there helping guide people through that too. And some of us take on that emotional pain as much as we take on the emotional happiness of a purchase. So empowering us to do our job better is huge.
100%. I'm also a firm believer in building relationships, not just transactions. And so that's really something that I want to be able to provide and kind of help. It doesn't always come naturally to people. But building those relationships, it builds that trust, and then it'll build that trust within the community. And then maybe people would look at us a little differently and realize what we do and how hard we work and the time and the effort that we put into things, because this is one of the biggest financial decisions they're making in their life. It's important, and we need to treat it as important. And we are the professionals, and we need to show that. Thanks, Chuck.
It's
my biggest fan.
Yeah. I think you look at, I think about when you're showing people a house, right? And maybe there's a few people looking at it, and you start to see them like feeling so comfortable, like, oh my gosh, this could be my next house. Like that, that happiness, that joy. And then it's like, okay. And then, I'm a little bit more like, okay, we're excited and we're cautious, because we need to check off 24 more boxes before you move in. And
well,
so
that's the professional side, right? Because we can get caught up too and be like, oh my gosh, this house is great. Yeah, right. But that's where we got to come in and reel it back and be like, okay, let's talk about this. Let's look at the money. Let's look at everything, right? Because I think we as real estate professionals, we get invested too. We want to see the excitement. Yes, we love getting paid and stuff like that too. But it's also rewarding seeing them get so happy too.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like honestly, like. To me, that's my why, right? Like I think of like why I started and why I got a real estate license out of the gate. There was a reason, but that was not going to sustain me. It wasn't until I really started working with people and saw how we were fitting into this part of their life that became like, oh my God, I can't believe I would ever have an impact on someone's life this way.
Yeah.
I can't believe how important, that would be to them.
You're part of their story.
You're totally part of
your story.
And that's the thing that drives you. That's the thing. That's the sustaining why.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why it's important that, another thing going into 2025 is I really want to show and prove that we are the destination brokerage, because you're not only going to get the tools and the resources and things you need to sustain your business, but also the skill set to go out there for all of that we are discussing right now, right? That you are part of somebody's story. You are part of their journey. And this is how, and you need that language and that verbiage and that attitude and how you come across to people so that they trust you. And you do that, you will be successful.
Yeah. As long as the secret's in the follow-up. So
that's it. That's it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. We've been doing, I don't know how long we've been doing this, Chuck, but we've done this long enough that we've been talking about all different ways to follow up, as far as staying in touch. We had a great, email message from Helen recently about staying in touch and writing cards at Thanksgiving, right? Don't wait until the new year to send a Happy New Year or any individual holidays. Like send something now. The power of a hand addressed envelope, you can't undervalue that.
Well, think about it. Everybody gets bills in the mail, right? And nobody gets anything nice. And when you do get a card, it's like, oh, and people like that. They remember that. So yeah, that is something you should be doing.
Yes.
It doesn't take long.
I know. I still say that the number one marketing piece is still the handwritten note. We still haven't come up with anything better, but
No.
I think, I have a friend who, whenever she travels, she sends postcards. And I caught that. I was like, really? And actually I have sent her some of the Postgram postcards, Chuck, of like things that we've done together. Yeah, Postagram.
I love it.
Some of those. But when I get a postcard from her, I'm like, that's, only because we were talking about it one time. But, I think even as a realtor, like I could go into my village of Hamburg and buy a bunch of postcards about Hamburg, about Buffalo. And why not send postcards? Why not, if you have people who you've helped relocate out of your city, send them a postcard from your city from the holidays. Like, hey, thinking of you. And, like, there are so many creative ways
you might be onto something, Lisa. I've never heard that. And I like that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go buy some postcards.
Go buy some postcards.
I have an aunt who is now she's 92. So phone calls are getting more difficult. She lives about 5 hours away, so I don't see her that often. And so I've started saying, you know what, I'm just going to write her letters because then she can read them at a time of day where she's in better spirits. And then she's got something to keep when the phone call ends, you know, and you don't remember it all the time. But that little card, I think, you know, why not?
It just represents a certain amount of effort, right? Like you got the card, you did the writing, you got the stamp, you had to go through all these steps.
Yes.
And then the post office by some miracle had to deliver the postcard to the delivery address. Like the stars had to align in order for this to work, and it worked. So that's great.
And if you remember, so, you know, not this totally talking about my Aunt Mary, but my Aunt Mary, when I was a kid, she was the first one in our family.
Is she a subscriber on your YouTube channel?
Oh,
she should be. You got to call your Aunt Mary.
Highland White Terrier, a Westie. And so because she had that dog, then later on my family got that dog, and now I have a Westie. So I got a note card with a Westie on the cover because if it wasn't for her and her first little dog, whose dog had the same name as my oldest son, but that's not any connection.
It means nothing.
He wasn't named after that dog.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because
the dog's full name is Maximilian, and my child's full name is Maxwell. So.
Oh, okay. You proved it.
We named our dog Maxwell. Our old dog. His name was Maxwell.
Really?
Yeah, it was Max. His name was Maxwell, like specifically Maxwell, but he was named after Amy Maxwell, who was a wonderful person I grew up with. So I named my dog after Amy Maxwell.
For a long time, Max was the #1 dog name in America.
It still is.
Which I did not know when I named my child Max.
How do you?
I'm positive it still is. Because when we would take our dogs, we had the worst. So we had Max and Annie, the two most common dog names, Max and Annie. And we would go to the dog kennel because every time we go to Syracuse for a visit, Kat's family, we had to drop our dogs off at the kennel. And we would see the list of dogs that were going to be there for the weekend. And there'd be 2 other sets of Max and Annie's. Our Max and Annie, somebody else's. It was pretty common.
I've never heard of a dog named Annie. Just saying. A cat? I've heard of a cat named Annie. Never a dog.
I only knew one dog named Annie.
See? It's not the most common name, Chuck.
I think it's pretty common. Speaking of dogs, one of my agents picked up a dog the other night out here in Irondequoit, and we haven't been able to find a home for this dog. So this is a super, super adorable Havanese, little Javi. So if anybody's interested in a nice little Javi, a young, very well-behaved, comment.
Oh, you should send me. I work with a
trying to find a home for this dog.
Yeah, I'm on a little plug in for the dog. I work with a rescue. I'm on a board for a rescue. So send me the information. I might be able to find someone.
The magic. Look,
okay, see what happens when we all get together.
We had no idea.
Homes for dogs too.
Great.
That's right.
Yeah, Kath and I, we do the rescue for, we foster for our county animal shelter for cats. So we do work with, we're cat foster people.
Your cat fosters.
Cat fosters. So cool. Thank you. I will definitely get that over. I'll connect you with
I can help with that.
Great.
Yeah. So I think, education.
That's like the thing. I can help with that. Somebody just says, "Hey, I can help with that."
Yes,
right?
that's
we
what
say that all
realtors
the time.
do,
I can help with
right?
that.
Well, it's providing value. You never know.
Right.
You start talking to people, and you never know what kind of a resource you can be for somebody, and they'll remember you, top of mind.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
No, I think that's huge. So education.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That was.
Even I put my phone on mute.
Okay. I just hung up on my boss.
Okay. Don't worry about it.
She'll get over it.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else do that. I'll get yelled at. It's okay. No, I won't. I'll never get yelled at. She's fantastic. How can you yell
You'll
at
be
this?
fine. We have a reason.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. So so education for this year, next year, what are some prerequisites? Like, what do you think agents should work on their own to get better at real estate? Like what?
Yeah. So I think
self-development.
Well, I think sometimes we need to go back to the basics, and even our seasoned agents, and I'm one of those too, before I got into this role, it was like, okay, I need to reel it back in. Let's get back to basics. And you need to work on your database. December is coming up. What about database December, right? Why not work on your database for the entire month of December and get your people lined up? If you're missing phone numbers, if you're missing emails, if you're missing addresses, get all those information. Really clean up your database so that you could go in with 2025 having your database set. And then we can start using your database to start marketing you for 2025. So I would say right now, that's what everybody should be working on, and get with your managers for business planning and what your year is going to look like and what you're doing. You know, maybe some marketing you're going to be doing. We got a new year coming up. Maybe we should start looking into our calendars, right? And start doing things like that. So start getting yourself set up for the new year.
I like that. Oh, go ahead, Chuck.
I wanted to put a plug in for the CE shop. Okay. You know, I told you, right? 2 weeks ago, I tried to get licensed again.
Yes.
So I signed up. I took the New York State salesperson licensing test 2 weeks ago.
Why?
Right. That's what I make up.
I'm just curious.
Yeah. And when he asked me to do it, I was like, no.
Nobody asked me to do that. I'd be like, no, I'm all set. Thanks.
No, like honestly though, I wanted to do it because I wanted to know what people, when they're going through the licensing process, I want to know what they're going through. I want to know what those questions are being asked, you know, and I want to be able to say, yeah, I just took the test last week, you know, so I want to be that up to date resource. I didn't think it was that hard, but
did you do it?
Yeah, I took the test.
You took the test. Oh, you completed the whole thing. You did it.
I don't have to do the licensing part again, the 77
right,
hours.
This is the class. Yeah, but you did the class.
I paid the $15. I went to the testing center and took the test. So I wanted to let you know, like the practice tests from the CE shop were a lot harder than the actual New York State licensing test. So if anyone's going to get licensed and you're going to go through that process, and you should get the package that includes the practice exams. You'll be prepared. If you take those and you get good scores on those practice exams, you'll be fine on your New York State exam.
I think especially if anyone has any like test anxiety,
or
if it's been a long time since you've had one of those standardized tests, like, you know, I used to tell people you don't have to finish the course and pass the course exam before you take the state exam. If you're like 2/3 of the way through, if you're 3/4 of the way through, take the state exam and see how you do. Like you say, the risk is $15 and your time. Right. But if you pass, like then that's done. If you don't pass, at least now you have a handle of what the expectation is. Right.
Yeah, no, you can just go take it. And they don't check. They don't want to see a certificate that you passed the, you know, your 77 at work.
And it doesn't, how many times you take it too doesn't determine what kind of realtor you're going to be. And so it doesn't matter. I just want to put that out there because I know with the test anxiety, a lot of people get that. And it's just like, well, if I can't pass it, then I'm not going to do well and I'm going to be horrible. That's not true. That's not true.
You're probably going to be amazing because you're just like everybody else. Like,
you know? Just to give yourself positive affirmations before you get, I am a great test taker. I know this. I am smart. I got this. And you'll do great.
You know what? I'm a great connector. I'm a great, you know, I'm great at talking to people. I'm great at asking questions. I'm great at being empathic, right? Empathy is probably what you need the most. And if you're great at that, you're going to be great.
You're going to be great. Yep.
I think our people are going to be great. I think 2025 is going to be great. I'm excited.
I'm excited for 2025 too. I really am. I'm really excited there's a lot of things in the works, and I'm really, I mean, maybe because I'm new and I'm all like, oh yeah, let's get going. But I have a lot that I want to implement and do. So I'm really excited for 2025.
You may be new and you may be with us for a month, but I've known you for a few years, and I think you're like this all the time. I don't think this is a change for you.
No, I am a bubbly person.
Yeah.
Yes, I am bubbly. I'm very positive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, they do say that, you know, happiness versus success. People think once they get successful, they'll get happy, but truly happier people are more successful. So it's important.
For me.
Once again, Lisa. All right, Lisa. Alicia, any last thoughts? You want to again make an ask? Like, hey, let me know. Like, we're an open book, right? What if you want to know something or learn something, connect with
Yeah,
me.
everybody's got my contact information, and everybody now sees my face and knows who I am and that I'm here. So reach out to me, send me a text, call me, shoot me an email, like let me know, any thoughts, any opinions you have. I want to hear it all, the good, the bad, the ugly. I want to hear it all.
Right.
Because I really want to make 2025 great, and I want every agent to feel that they're supported and that they're getting the education and the tools and the resources that they need so that they can be successful. And I have a hand in that. So talk to me. Let me know.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Realtor Avery, Alicia Guntram had the closing thought.
Love it.
Cheers, everybody.